it's fitting. I've started the women's ice hockey question, so I'll be reporting. Volleyball question, I'll be reporting
too.
too.
That is how they design it, yeah.
What creates offense?
Defense.
What creates defense?
Offense.
No, the goalie in the back of the net.
So you're crazy. I like you, but you're crazy because
At least if you're going to pick a trap game, pick the right ones.
Little fast footwork. I know your feet don't move that fast.
Brady, that's all flash, no pass. She didn't net it in the back of the net. That's not even a goal.
What are you doing pulling out Ryan?
Brady.
Are you ready for some debate? This Bobcat Breakdown starts right now.
Welcome to Studio 125 for this episode of Bobcat Breakdown. I'm your host, Andrew Goodness, and alongside me are Anthony Rossi and Jack Bergmann. How are you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I had Moe's tonight. That's one of my favorite places down here in Hamden, so I'm ready to go.
I'm really excited. I'm not really thinking about food right now. I'm thinking about sports, and I'm ready to get started here tonight.
Well then, let's jump right into our debate. The field hockey team defeated Merrimack 8-0 on Sunday, led by Francisca Eschoyez, who tallied 9 points on the day. Do we think Eschoyez, who now has 23 points on the year, can beat the Quinnipiac scoring record of 39 points? We'll start off with you, Anthony.
So I'm starting very, very spicy. I think that she is going to either break it or tie it. She's on pace right now to pass it if she continues at the pace that she's going. Last year she had 22 points, but that's in total. She's up to 23 points right now. The current record, for a little bit of a history lesson, got set back in 2013. 39 points. Jess Rusin holds the current record. The closest Bobcat to even coming close, which is not even that close, it's 15 away, was Stella Tetmeyer back in 2022. And that's not even in her prime. But I think Francisca Eschoyez is going to break that single season point record or tie it. And I also think, this is my little bit of a hot take, I think that she might get Big East Midfielder of the Year. I think that she stacks up very, very well compared to the other Big East talent.
Well, I'm not 100% sure about that award, but what I can say is we can do a little bit of basic math, right? So without that 9-point Merrimack game where the team absolutely squashed them, she averages 2 points a game, right? So let's say she plays 10 more games, which is how many she has left. It's safe to say she'll probably get around 20. So math says 43. I'm going to go with around 41. I think that's going to be giving her a little bit of grace to underperform, but I'm taking that scoring record to the moon. I think she's going to pass that, and I think she's going to break the single season point record as well, and I'm going to have to agree with you here.
Yeah, I think, like you said, it's just very simple math. The one tough thing, I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate here, is the Big East Conference. It is very stacked. Old Dominion, the team that they're playing next weekend, is a very tough team. UConn, Villanova, Providence, who beat BU, that beat Quinnipiac. So Providence, technically, if you're looking at it with the transitive property, Providence is actually a better team than Quinnipiac on the stat sheet, but we'll see what happens when the two teams collide.
That's true, but she does only need a couple more goals, around like 6 or 7 goals, around 7 assists too. Like, she's got 8 goals and 7 assists so far, but she could just tack on a couple more points, I think.
Well then, we can move on to women's soccer. The Bobcats are 2-0-1 in conference play, with an upcoming matchup against the Fairfield Stags. Last year, they lost 2-0 to the Stags in the regular season and 1-0 in the MAC championship. Is Wednesday's game a must-win for the Bobcats? Jack, you can start us off.
So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say no, because even if they win now, they still have to win later, because we're at a point in the season where we're not in the playoffs yet. And all of the games that they've played against Fairfield, especially last year, have been really tight. And they only lost last year by 1 in the finals. So it could be important if it's a blowout, but if Olivia Jarvis has a great day in goal and Morgan Kupo and Clara Bankston can get their stuff together, I feel like them giving up that loss there isn't really the end of the world.
I mean, I like the points that you have, but I think that this is a big must-win game for the Bobcats. There's a lot of questions surrounding this team, including the goaltending. Who's really going to start? Is it going to be Olivia Jarvis? Is it going to be
She's been great so
Gwen
far, so I feel like she could stay.
Like I was about to
definitely
say
agree
here,
with that.
Olivia Jarvis has been very good, but Mount St. Mary's, they lost a lot in the offseason. They beat Quinnipiac 2-0 last year. The Bobcats destroyed them 5-1. I think right now you need to beat the big dog or the big fish in the pond, excuse me. Maddie Theriot on that team, you just got to cover her. It's really a one-person show. If you can cover her, then they'll be good. But it's also that defense too. Fairfield has only let up 8 goals all year, and they only let up 2 goals against Rutgers. Rutgers, that's a Big Ten team. They play UCLA, who's currently number 4 in the nation later this year. I think that that's really good competition. they need to make a statement and make a statement early. And what better way to beat a team at home that is your rival?
That's fair, but right now, really, the way you've been talking about them beating them, there's really only been one big fish to fry. I know you mentioned the defense a little bit, but it's bigger than just a certain sport. So we could also look at like other Fairfield rivalries. Like women's basketball beat Fairfield in the regular season. They lost in the chip. Women's volleyball beat Fairfield in the regular season. They also lost in the chip.
So even if they win my point, why it must be a must-win. You have to beat your rival.
But they lost in the chip, is what I'm continuing to say. What I just said is, I don't know if you're listening or not, but I'm saying it to everyone else. I would say I would rather them lose now and win in the playoffs, and I feel like that's going to be a lot easier because they're able to make that adaptations. Even if they win now, what's saying Fairfield doesn't get better in the playoffs?
Why not win twice? I understand there's the old saying. There's the old saying that says it's hard to beat a team twice.
But it's old saying.
Why not just beat them twice then?
But it's new now. Why is it an old saying? Why? It's completely out of fashion. It doesn't really matter at this point.
Well, I mean, that was some great debate, guys, but we have to head to our first commercial break. When we return, Jack and Anthony will be telling us how panicked they are for Quinnipiac's fall sports teams. Stay tuned.
Even the mighty might not see it coming. It's prediabetes, and it captures 1 in 3 adults. But you can escape. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test to know where you stand and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Be your own hero on smartphones everywhere at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? Mine. Oh.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Two milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable. The sad reality is, fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kids should know.
Welcome back to Bobcat Breakdown. As conference play heats up for fall sports, some people might be getting nervous for how these teams will perform. Jack and Anthony are going to be giving us their thoughts on each fall sports team and how panicked they are with the use of our panic meter. Starting off with volleyball, Quinnipiac is 3-9 in non-conference, with their first match of conference play on Friday the 26th at Sacred Heart. Anthony, let's hear your thoughts.
Well, it's fitting that we start off with volleyball, which is the sport that I veer pro. Let's send up that panic meter. Let's push this all the way back, all the way into not panicked. There we go. I am not panicked at all. I could be relaxing on vacation right now, sipping some lemonade. That's how confident I am in this team right now. They always play a tough non-conference, and they always do a little bit tough in the non-conference. They didn't get blown out by really any opponent. In a couple of sets, yeah, sure that they get a little bit blown out, yes, but they haven't been fully healthy at all. Ginevra Giovaglioni has not even stepped on the court yet in non-conference play. Elena Giacomini finally got into her form in this last weekend, but again, they're playing really tough opponents. The only team that they got really blown out by is the College of Charleston, and that was at their home invitational, and they're defending Coastal Athletic Association champions.
Well, I would say that if we were to pull up that panic meter real quick for me, I would say I'm a little bit more concerned. I'm around that slightly panicked, like yellowish color, right around that middle, because I understand 3-9 is the same record they had last year. And last year they only lost 3 conference games, but last year they started off 2-2. So they had a really rough start and really took a little bit of time to get going. I know that could be the case right now with the 1-3 loss to Stetson, 1-3 loss to Morgan State, 1-3 loss to Townsend, 1-3 loss to UT Arlington, 1-3 loss to Bradley, and a 1-3 loss to Temple. These are just lots of losses going on. And last year's losses were a little bit more competitive, like more 2-3 losses, and they kind kind of need to get their stuff together when the season starts. Otherwise, if they let it slip out of hand like it started to do last year, I would be a little bit worried. It's not the end of the world, but it's still something that I'm a little bit concerned with.
Well, we'll move on to rugby, who are 2-2 on the season. They lost their game on Friday 64-0 against Lindenwood. Jack, how are you feeling about the rest of the season?
Well, I need you to pull up this meter right away because I'm thinking red, 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 red. You lost to Lindenwood 0-64. You were down 0-40 at half, and you lost to Dartmouth earlier this season 0-59. Last year, they never lost a game by more than 16 points, and they never got shut out. So I know this is still a very good and competitive team, but I am very nervous compared to how they performed last year. I think it's going to be really difficult for them to replicate that success.
Anthony, how about you?
I think that this is one that we agree on 100%. There's really no need to bring up the panic meter. It's all the way to red. This team is absolutely in shambles right now. They lost to Lindenwood and got blown out. They lost to Dartmouth and got blown out, pretty much like you just said. Becky Carlson, she was not happy after that Lindenwood game either. And I'll say a quote from this game. Quote, if players aren't on the level of, she was referring to Layla Cox, Baldiers, and Alexa Kirshner, then there are 15 players playing a game individually. And that is not good. You cannot have 15 players just playing individually. You have to play as a team, and that is really the only thing I feel that this rugby team is kind of.
Well, we have to move on to field hockey now, who is 5-3 overall and 0-1 in conference play with a loss to Liberty 2-0. Going forward into the rest of the season, where are we at, Anthony?
We'll pull up that panic meter. Again, we'll go all the way back to not panicked at all. I'm not panicked. Same as volleyball. I could be chilling on a vacation right now. This is their best start in program history. Francisca Eschoyez, Christina Torres, they are balling right now. They are playing great field hockey. They played Liberty really close. That's a team that they lost to 9-0 last year. And like I mentioned earlier, really the only scary part is when they get into the heat of Big East Conference play. I say right now I'm on a vacation, but I could be off of that vacation very quickly if the Old Dominion trip does not go well.
That's true. I feel like if we're looking at the panic meter, you really have to kind of decide what your expectations are for the season before you really look at how panicked you are. Because even though they're 0-1 in conference play, it's all good. There's a little bit of a scuff or scruff on their record, but they held the Liberty game within 2, and that's a top 4 team. And then they squashed Merrimack 8-0, and they're already 5-3, and they've more than doubled their win total from last year. So I wouldn't be greedy.
Well, then we'll move on to men's soccer. The team is 1-5-1 on the year and lost their first game of conference play to Marist 5-2, with plenty more games on the way. How worried should we be about the rest of the schedule, Jack?
Well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say we got some red lights. We got to stop right now for a minute and slow down. They're 0-1 in conference play, but they're 1-5-1 overall. And their only win this season was against a Division II team, and they only won by 2. This team just cannot score some goals. Last season, they were outscored last season they only let up 23 goals in 17 games, and they've already let up 22, and it's only been 7 games. So the defense has really suffered a lot, and I feel like they really need to step it up if they're going to succeed this year.
I think when you're doing your prep, you got to take a look at current events. But let's pull up the panic meter. They did actually beat New Haven State, but we got to go red, red, red. I absolutely agree with you. This is kind of breaking the scale of panic. I thought that rugby, I was panicked. Oh boy, I'm much more panicked for this men's soccer team. Basically, the quote that I got from my good friend Becca Calkins, who beat reports the men's soccer team, is if you have 3 QBs, you have none. And that's pretty much a perfect description of the goalie situation for the men's soccer team. This team has shown that they have not had the ability to string together good offensive performances. It's basically Sivert Ristolsness versus the world, and the men's soccer team cannot have that.
Well, on the other side of the ball, women's soccer is 2-0-1 in their conference matchups, with a 2-3-2 record on the season as a whole. With their upcoming home game against Fairfield challenging their clean home record, how concerned are we, gentlemen?
Well, I'll start us off. Let's pull up that panic meter. I'm going to say I'm slightly panicked. I'm in the middle right now. I'm not insanely panicked about this team. I feel like if they beat Fairfield, they're chilling. But I think that goalie situation is still up in the air. Like we talked about earlier, I think that Olivia Jarvis should be the starter. I think we both agree on that.
Definitely.
But Gwen Hoyt, she's still a good goalie. This team is pretty good right now. Morgan Kupo's back from injury, and that is great to see. She's got 3 goals this season. So does Melina Branca, but she definitely needs to step it up. 3 goals is not going to be enough to help this team carry themselves into the MAC playoffs.
Yeah, I kind of agree with a couple of points you're saying, but if I were to pull up that meter right now, I would be very green, especially because of their performance against the Mount. They're 2-0-1 in conference play so far. They're undefeated at home this season, 2-0-1 in Hamden. And ultimately, non-con is a good way to measure how a team will do during the season, but it isn't everything. And even if they lose versus Fairfield, they're chilling. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. You don't need to be the 1 seed to win the MAC. The MAC is a competitive conference, and there have been plenty of years where the number 1 seed doesn't always win. All you really need to worry about is being good enough to make the tournament and make that leap when the postseason comes.
Well, yeah, I think we could use a break here on desk. Sorry.
You can go
Sorry,
for it.
Anthony.
Yeah, feel free.
But stay with us, because when we return, we'll be going over some of rugby's new additions, and QBSN will be here to preview Bobcat Game Day on Saturday.
There are a lot of temptations facing young people today, like electronic cigarettes and skateboarding. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes. This can lead today's youth to a lifelong addiction and severe lung damage. Recall and consider the facts before making a poor decision.
The health class film guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
Everyone has a ritual. That small thing we do to keep us focused.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game?
To drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health. Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mind and mental health.
Find the resources you need to keep your mental health a priority. Love your mind.
Have you ever helped a fellow veteran?
Of course.
Yes.
Have you ever asked for help yourself?
It's always tough, right?
I always feel like I can solve my own problems, but eventually, you just can't deal with it on your own.
And you start to question, maybe people would be better off without me. And you realize that you're not alone. Once you take that first step, there's so much support.
Welcome back to Bobcat Breakdown. If you're just tuning in, I'm Andrew Goodness, joined by Anthony Rossi and Jack Bergmann. The Quinnipiac rugby team saw 11 new additions going into the season after losing 13 players at the end of last year. With all these new faces, who will make the greatest impact this season for Becky Carlson's team? Jack, who's your pick?
Well, I'm going to have to go with Ava DeCooper Ride. I'm riding or dying with this one here. She's a fly half fullback from England, and she helped Norwich Rugby Club to the Norfolk Cup Championships in 2024 and 2025. She was named an impact player on attack. Now, also, there's a couple of stats. She recorded 13 carries, 4 line breaks, 4 defenses beaten, and 112 meters made. And she also played 1 season in the under-18 England Player Developmental Path rugby program. I don't know if your player did that, but also my player was also a dual sport athlete in high school. Did you know that? She might even be able to be on the field hockey team at this school with how much I feel like she's going to make an impact for this team continuing this year.
It's funny you mentioned dual sport athlete because my pick actually is a dual sport athlete, that being Reagan Perez, unfortunately not related to F1 star Sergio Perez, Checo Perez for those back home. But she has been a very good force for the Quinnipiac rugby team. She transferred in from Central Washington University, and so far this year, she recorded 2 tries, beat 4 defenders off the tackles, and she was the offensive player of the match in the match against LIU, where the Bobcats kind of blew the doors off of the Sharks. But I think that if she can perform the way that she did in the LIU game, the Bobcats shouldn't really have a problem in these Final Four games. I am, like I said, slightly panicked about this team. But I like your pick as well. I feel like if there's 2 players that you could pick, it's Reagan Perez or your pick, Jack.
Yeah, I feel like it's a pretty good call.
Well, let's keep up to the debate. Women's ice hockey just had their first exhibition game of the season. In the matchup against UConn, 3 goaltenders saw time in net. Between sophomore Felicia Frank, senior Tatum Blacker, and senior transfer Callie Hogarth, which of these goalies should get the starting nod in net?
I've been waiting for this question for so long. Jack, I want you to start first.
Okay. I think we actually have the same thought process here.
Are you sure?
I'm going to go Felicia Frank. She had 11 saves in the exhibition. I know Callie Hogarth had 14 saves, but Frank had 4 shutouts in 10 games last year and went 7-2-1. And her save percentage is .947 as opposed to Hogarth's .904. I know Hogarth didn't really play as much her junior year as her sophomore year, where she won the team MVP, but I still feel like you should give Frank the shot. She's young, she did an incredible job last year, and it gives her a chance to learn more and improve her own game.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I think Callie Hogarth did well, but no, I think Felicia Frank is definitely the starter. No, I got to take things a little bit seriously here. Felicia Frank, she stopped every single shot in the exhibition. She did great last year for the women's ice hockey team. Last year, she had a 1.00 goals against average. She had a save percentage of a 9.47. I think the real question is who should be the backup, Tatum Black or Callie Hogarth. I think this is pretty obvious. I think it's Callie Hogarth.
I agree because Hogarth had 25 saves per game last year, a total of over 600. So I feel like it's really rough to kind of write her off right away because this could really be very competitive. I will say I would prefer if Felicia Frank were the starting goalie because she's younger and it gives her more of an opportunity to improve later on. But I wouldn't be upset if they went either way.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think that if you have a transfer goalie come in from the portal, you have to give her playing time. She didn't transfer in for no reason. So they also have a fourth goalie as well. She is actually redshirting this year, but if they do need her, she is there. She is ready to go. But I think that Felicia Frank, Callie Hogarth, they could be a pretty deadly tandem once we get later down the line.
Well, unfortunately, that's all the time we have for debate tonight for you guys. But we'll have more for you this weekend. QBSN is here to preview our men's soccer Bobcat game day on Saturday.
I'm Zach Napa, joined by you're going to be your broadcasters for QBSN on Saturday for Bobcat Game Day as the Quinnipiac men's soccer team faces off against the St. Peter's Peacocks. Pre-game coverage starting at 1:15 at Q30TV.com/watch. Now, Luke, St. Peter's comes into the contest with one of the top scorers in the MAC in Tim Strelly. What do the Bobcats have to do to slow him down? Their defense has been struggling to start the year, so absolutely the senior has been killing it for the Peacocks so far with 7 goals, 3 assists, and 9 shots on goal. He converts his shots at a high rate. The defense has just got to stop him. With shaky goaltending from the Bobcats, they got to find a way to stop him. And then on the flip side, the Quinnipiac offense has been pretty good in the early stages of the season. Who is one player to look out for on the offensive side of the game? It's absolutely iceberg. Rostalsness. He has 10 points on the season, 4 goals, 2 assists. Him and Luke Schreinerbeck have just been killing it for the Bobcats so far. They got to find a way to win it for this Bobcats team. Quinnipiac will be looking for their first conference win of the 2025 season. Make sure to tune in at 2 p.m. at Q30TV.com/watch or the QBSN.com/listen. And we'll be right back on Bobcat Breakdown after a short commercial break.
Every day, thousands of kids start vaping. And I can't let this happen to my kid. So if you want to talk to your kids, you have to get it trending.
No, you're doing it wrong.
Let's go.
Can we talk?
Yeah, what's up?
Visit talkaboutvaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape talk.
You've done the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the easy part and get scanned for lung cancer. If you smoked, you may still be at risk, but early detection could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Welcome back to Bobcat Breakdown. It's time for our final roars. I'll start us off. Starting this semester, the School of Communications here at Quinnipiac introduced its newest major, Sports Communications. I am lucky enough to be a part of the first class of Sports Communications majors, and I am so excited for the opportunities this program will present. Quinnipiac is well suited for this sort of program, mostly because of the sports culture and student media opportunities. I mean, I'm a first year hosting a TV show in his first month of college. I don't think opportunities get much better than that. Between the 2 sports shows here at Q30 and broadcasting opportunities on QBSN, Quinnipiac offers an environment for sports communications students to thrive. As someone who came from a small town school where there was no student media, it is so incredible for me to have opportunities like Q30 and QBSN. These experiences, alongside the expertise of program leaders like Director Nick Petruskevich and visiting Professor Patricia Mays, make Quinnipiac a premier destination for anybody and everybody interested in the world of sports media.
Sports aren't just a competition, they're a lifestyle, and the best way to experience life is alongside your family. Whether it's with the family you're born with or the family you've made along the way, it's crucial for athletes to have a great support system. Some student athletes like Damala and Yamar Ganesh and Azra and Sarah Osbel-Tekin took the risk to leave their home countries and come play Division I volleyball at Quinnipiac alongside their sisters. There are also siblings like infielders Ian and Christian Nielsen, who simply took a leisurely 40-minute drive up Route 15 to play together. Anthony Cipollone was recruited to play alongside his brother Joey, and in 2023 they won the national championship. The list goes on and on. Sports have also been a major part of my life, especially Taekwondo. I've been a martial artist since I was 9 years old, and not only have been able to train with my immediate family, but to also create one big happy family along the way. I've trained alongside my parents, my brother, and my sister for almost a decade, and in June 2024, I tested for my 3rd degree black belt and the title of senior instructor alongside my dad. Sharing that experience with him was one of the best moments of my life. I'm incredibly grateful for all that my direct family and the UMAC Briarcliff family have done to support me, as my Taekwondo principles have made me into the man I am today. So Nanny, Franny, Joey, Mom and Dad, thank you for everything.
When picking a final roar topic for the first show of the semester, it's always going to be the same topic of conversation for me. It's time, once again, ladies and gentlemen, to talk about the Quinnipiac women's ice hockey team. Now, this team is a completely different story than any other team in my time here at Quinnipiac. To start with what the Bobcats are losing in the offseason. 4 players from last year's team got drafted into the PWHL, highlighted by Kendall Cooper getting drafted in the first round. Maya Labod, Maddie Samiskevich, and Kaylee Doyle were all drafted into the PW. But with those players moving on, that means a lot of players coming into the program that are newcomers. That includes 2 transfers and 9 first years. That's the most the team has had since the 2010-11 season. That was Kelly Babstock's freshman year, by the way. Alex Law and Kelly Hogarth, both transferring from Hockey East schools, look to be ready to take on the challenge of starting anew with their second college hockey team. As for the first years, look out for Jade Barbarotti and Ella Johnson to make big impacts throughout their time here at Quinnipiac. Both have national playing experience and have looked solid so far, especially in the exhibition game against UConn. This team looks ready to go with Felicia Frank, Kaylin LaMarche, and other key players entering their 2nd or 3rd year in Hamden. But with that on the horizon, just make sure to stop by M&T Bank Arena to watch this team play at some point this year. Expect this fast, hard-working team to make some noise throughout the year.
Well, gentlemen, with Bobcat Game Day coming up, who do we think is scoring first for the men's soccer team on Saturday?
I don't know. What do you think?
I'm liking the chances of Andrew Montesaren scoring. Also, Alex Miller is coming back. Look for him to make a big impact.
That's true. I'm going to go with Francisco Ferreira. I feel like he'll really have a big impact, bringing that experience to the midfield. I feel like he'll be someone who, even if he doesn't score, he'll definitely excel this weekend.
Well, to wrap it up, gentlemen, can we get a final score prediction?
Ooh, that is kind of tough. I'm going to go 4-2 Bobcats.
4-2. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to be a little bit more extreme than you. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go with a 4-1, saying that the Bobcats are able to stifle them on defense and really succeed on the offensive side of the ball. I feel like this will be a really good turnaround game for them.
Do you guys have any thoughts on who's going to start in net?
I think it is going to be Pisani. I think you have to go Pisani. He's been hot in net right now, and I think that he's going to be the starter moving forward, especially if they want to get out of that big panic that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. I agree with you. I feel like that's really going to be the way they want to go if they want to keep it a low-scoring game on the opposite side, and that'll give them a little bit more of a chance to kind of exceed on the other side of the ball.
Well, that's all the time we have for Bobcat Breakdown this week. Thank you for tuning in and spending your Tuesday night with us. And thank you to all the producers and everyone working hard behind the scenes. Stay up to date on Quinnipiac Sports and make sure to follow us on Instagram and X at Q30 Sports and check out our website at q30tv.com. For Anthony Rossi and Jack Bergmann, I'm Andrew Goodness. Have a wonderful night, Bobcats.